Welcome to Holly's Pandorium, featuring your host, psychic medium Holly Jordan.
Okay, I guess we're here. That was a weird intro. It didn't work right. Hi, everybody. This is Holly from Holly's Pandorium, and I'm coming to you from our frosty Washington weather right now. And I'm happy to introduce you to a new person. His name is Lee. He is a hand trembler from the Navajo Nation. Hello, Lee. I'm so glad you're here tonight.
Hello, Holly. Glad to
So
be
if
here.
you would please explain for everybody that's listening and watching, what is a hand trembler of the Navajo Nation? What does that mean?
Okay, so a hand trembler is a type of medicine man. Um, I would say it's like a subtype of a medicine man because there are other types, but
Okay.
mainly a hand trembler would be someone that um can actually see what's wrong with the person. So like let's say if a patient comes to me and says they don't know what's going on, they have this pain in their side, in their head, or if they just tell me that there's something like bad vibes inside their homes, then usually I would just sit there and um pretty much wait for it to come to me. My hand will start shaking, and that's where it actually comes from. My
Okay.
hand will start shaking, and it will actually start moving on its own and telling me things about the person, what's bothering them, if there's a bone or if there's some type of object in them. Also, seeing if someone is actually doing it to them. So if they're actually being witchcraft or if someone's putting, I guess, in a type of hex on them. And
Okay.
that's something I would actually see.
That's incredible. So when your hand starts trembling, is it always your left hand or your right hand, or does it change? Is it always the same hand, or how does that work?
Um, I don't want to be too specific because I don't want to
That's okay.
give it away. Yeah, but it's one of my hands. It would actually start shaking, and
Okay.
sometimes it's hard to control because it would actually sometimes like if I'm in the store, it would try to point to the person that's
Oh,
in the store that's someone that's no good or someone that's up to bad. So
ah.
it would actually start doing that.
Oh, that could be awkward.
Yeah. There
I've
was actually one time that me and my girlfriend were inside Walmart and my hand started shaking because it told me that there was someone that was bad in the store. And that's all it told me. And we're walking around and I was like kind of being cautious, and I actually seen this little old lady in a walker, and she was like, I would say in her 80s, and it started shaking really bad, wanting to point to her and say, you're that person, I know who you are. And then my girlfriend actually seen it, and she held my hand and she kind of like covered me up because she didn't want that to happen because she
Yeah,
has seen it happen before. So
that could be a really messy situation, I bet.
yeah.
And I'm sure you can relate to this. I've actually had an instance where I find that I don't like large crowds. I've had a few times when I've gone to like state fairs where there's a
Mhm.
lot of people. And for me, I see things like if someone's got an attachment, when someone has something
Yeah.
affecting them, I see it on their neck or the side of their shoulder kind of area.
Mhm.
And or just I see people with black eyes. Their whole eyeball is black on both sides. And so there's indications like that where I physically see them and it's like, oh, that's really uncomfortable. And I usually get a stomach ache and, other things happen. And so I don't have the hand trembling thing, but yeah, I definitely get signals that something's not good in front of me, and it's creepy. That's not fun when
Yeah.
that happens.
That I actually have those same experiences, but it's not to that extent. It will just really tell me that that person's bad, that person does bad things. So,
Right, right. So how old were you when you realized you had something different going on with you?
I would say when I was like 15, 16, when I seen my great grandmother.
Hmm.
Like I was explaining, she passed away in 2012 at the age of 105.
That's amazing.
And yeah, and my mom was coming in, and she was actually walking behind her. She was actually coming in the front door, and I just happened to look that way, and she was standing right behind my mom, and she was walking behind her. And then I kind of looked away, and then I looked back again, and she was gone. And I was thinking, did I just see that? Like, did I just see my grandmother? Like,
Right.
I was like thinking that, and then it kind of like didn't really hit me until like a couple of days later, and I was like thinking, wait, well, how am I seeing her? Like, she passed away back in 2012, and like, how am I seeing her? And then from there, it kind of caught on stronger and stronger to the point where I was actually seeing people that were actually not there, that other people could not see.
Right.
But then it kind of got me thinking, as far back as when I was little, I would actually see figures at the windows of my dad's house, and I would actually see black faces. And even if I were to go outside at night, even though we're told not to go outside at night,
Right.
um, I would always see things like standing behind a tree and kind of peeking his head out from my behind my dad's work truck. So I'm thinking that I was actually born with this. And if anybody knows anything about hand trembling, if anybody actually is listening from Navajo Nation, then they would understand that it's passed down through family,
Yeah.
and it chooses who has the strongest will and who it wants to get attached to. Because
Interesting.
in Navajo it's called Tinle. That's how you pronounce it in Navajo, and it basically translates to Gila monster. Because our Gila monster in our tribe is considered our um pa- maternal or paternal grandfather. Or wait, I switched that around. It's maternal, so it'll be our nully. That's how you say it.
Okay.
And yeah, and then our che is our grandfather. Then that's going to be the hornitude. So that's the also another protector of us, just like the Gila monster.
Interesting. Yeah, I found out not too long ago, about 10 years ago, that my great grandfather did seances in Chicago in the 1920s and 30s. I had no idea. I had never heard that before. And my mom had told me, she may have, I could say that, I could correct that statement. She may have said something, but I don't remember her saying anything about that in particular. But
Mhm.
she did tell me that my ancestors were very interested in numerology and some other alternative types of things that
Mm.
weren't, Christian related or church related, whatever,
Yeah.
a little out of the norm. But yeah, some of my cousins were talking about it, that it was a big deal, that, he would go to work by day, and every Thursday night he had a seance, and everybody would come. And because this was not too long after World War One,
Hmm.
type thing. And so there was a lot of people that died suddenly. So there was a big time of people wanting to connect with the dead. It was
Yeah.
very popular to talk to someone that was a medium. So I don't know if that's what started him. I wish I knew more about how he did that. So have you ever gotten to talk to someone else in your family that does what you do?
Um, um, Not from my my mother's side, mainly because my mother is actually from Arizona, so I
Hmm.
don't really know that side of the family.
Okay.
But as for my dad, he doesn't really have anybody that has this gift in that family.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it came from my mother's side, because one of my uncles actually told me that um one of my grandparents from Arizona was actually a medicine man out there.
Oh,
So
okay.
that led me to believe that I actually got it from my mother's side.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that would be the same with mine, because its great grandfather was on my mother's side. So yeah, that's amazing. So is there anyone else in your immediate family that has this type of gift or something like that? Do you have like cousins or siblings that do anything like you do?
Um, my little sister and my little brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
that's
they actually
cool.
have it, and um, I wouldn't say theirs is as strong as mine, but if they practice long enough, they would actually get to the point where I'm at.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome. So, how do you put this together with your day-to-day life? How do you handle dealing with this? Because it's very unusual compared to normal everyday living.
well, when I first got it, it was very hard. It was
Yeah,
very hard because learning things about people, especially your own family, like being able to see what they've done in the past and what's affecting them now and stuff like that. Even just walking around in the stores, it's very hard. But after a few years of like understanding it, talking to it, and learning how to channel it, it became a lot easier where it's like how I say, it's just like breathing.
yeah,
It's something I can just do, and it's just something I could do really.
it's a skill.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's kind of what I try to tell people too. Is I didn't understand it. There were times when I heard things or saw things, and whoa, I don't want to know that. That's no
Mm.
thanks. that's that's not what I want to hear, or not what I want to see. But um, it's been a really cool journey, just getting to help people and getting to answer questions that people have, and most of all, give people some peace of mind, especially if they're not sleeping good or if they're not feeling well, and just giving them some answers that they cannot get anywhere else. You know,
Yeah.
it's a huge blessing. It's a bit of a curse at times. It's challenging and it definitely stretches me a bit, but I think I'm a better person because of it. I don't know. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I would say so. When I first got it, it was like learning how to understand it and everything, but then after a while, it told me I had to start helping people. I had to get myself out there and start helping not just like people around me, the immediate area, but people like within the Navajo Nation, basically.
Yeah.
So that's what I started doing. I started helping more people, and then that's what kind of actually helped me focus on using it to the point where I'm at right now.
So have you done work outside the Navajo Nation at all yet?
I actually have not, and I'm kind of curious of trying it, but um, I feel like it's mainly like we have this thing in our tribe where we have four sacred mountains, and it's kind of like I wouldn't say a boundary, but it's like an area where it's the Navajo Nation is basically in, and I feel like whenever I leave, it weakens, like I can't see certain things or certain things come blurry to me. Just
Oh
like when
yeah.
I took a trip to Phoenix, Arizona, I noticed that it was like it wasn't as strong, but I could still see certain things and feel certain things.
Interesting.
So,
I do believe that mountains and water and just wildlife are big sources of energy. And I
mm,
noticed, so I've lived in Nevada, I lived in Lake Tahoe, big energy spots, huge. Um, I saw amazing, strange things for years while I was there, and I heard things very boldly. And I can say, I would agree that there's areas for me where I feel it a lot stronger than others.
mm,
Um, I've also noticed that when I go to like a cemetery, that's like, I don't know, that's like a day spa for me. It's so calm and peaceful, where some people sitting with their feet in the ocean is their zen moment, and I feel that way too. But I also notice that when I'm around cemeteries and places like that, that's so peaceful to me and calm, and spirits are so comfortable most of the time to come up and just talk to me. um, I do kind of a tour where I go to different cemeteries in my area, and I'm trying to just visit with souls, because part of what I do is deal with the afterlife quite a bit. So I
mhm,
I spend a lot of time talking with people that have passed on. And some of them, they're ready to move on to their next journey, and some of them aren't. They just have questions, or like I have some that just want to talk. I had a gentleman that died in a car wreck in the 1920s, and he just wanted to talk about what happened. That he was driving and then he woke up and saw his dead body and couldn't figure out what happened. That happens more frequently than not, unfortunately. People die suddenly all the time in hospitals.
Yeah.
They can spend years wandering around and have no idea what happened. And so I get that, that's a thing. You got to figure out what's going on around you. What happened to my
Yeah.
body? Can't anybody hear me and see me? And what is that? Why does that look so different? And time moves very differently. It's really amazing. It's
Yeah.
really a lot to take in. I'm curious. I want to ask you a few questions, particularly about experiences. So, have you encountered portals where spirits go in and out, or entities go in and out in your area? Is that something you've been familiar with?
I actually have not, but I'm kind of getting into this whole um paranormal kind of area because
Hmm.
I mean I've always been interested in like spirits, ghosts, and stuff like that, but I never really pursued it because, like I said, in our tradition, it's kind of taboo. So it kind of kept me away from that. But then now I'm kind of open into learning about it and reading more about it. So, but on the other hand, like cryptic animals and stuff like that, I have seen a certain amount of them.
Okay.
So,
Would you mind sharing about that? What kind of cryptids have you seen?
um, I'm not exactly sure if it was a Bigfoot, but I'm assuming because the size of it, I'm assuming it was a Bigfoot now, but um, it was back in 2018 or 2019. I'm not exactly sure, but I was at my ex's house. We were having a party, and the dogs were barking outside, and that's nothing normal to us. They just go crazy about anything, and we are always taught like the animals can see things that we can't see, and so that's what we always do. But then for that specific reason, I don't know why I went outside, and I was kind of looking around, and then just went back inside, and I grabbed my flashlight and I shined it to the top of the hill that's in front of the house, and I just happened to see two pairs of glowing eyes that were looking down on us. And my ex at the time actually came outside, and she looked up there and she was like amazed by it because we are both seeing it. Like I thought I was the only one seeing it, and me being who I am, I started walking towards it, and they were
Right.
telling me, no, no, leave it alone, leave it alone. And then I was curious. I'm just as curious as a cat, so
Yeah.
and I started walking towards it, and they were staying on the porch. And as I got closer, it started walking like it would creep backwards, and it'll make its way down the hill a little, and it'll pop up again. And it kept doing that until we got maybe about 40, I would say 30 to 40 feet away from each other. But then the size, the way it was on top of the hill to that close of a distance to me, it was actually taller. And now that I remember, the distance between the eyes on top of the hill was like kind of like a person's eyes. But
Right.
then when it was like that far in front of me, it was like wider. It was like maybe about 4 or 5 inches apart.
Yeah.
So it had to be something big to make its eyes kind of spread out that far.
Sure. Sure.
And it was like kind of creeping behind a bush, but it was like you could see the silhouette of it even though it was dark. And then it just disappeared. And like I'm assuming it just turned around and walked away because I actually heard like branches snapping and it walking between the trees until it got out of like hearing range. And then fast forward a couple of days, there's this window in the back by by the back door, and it leads out to a cornfield. And one night I woke up and then I went in the kitchen. I made a sandwich and then I went back there. For some reason, I went back there. And then I just happened to look at that window, and then I seen something, and I looked back over there again, and then I saw a silhouette of a person standing right there. And then I was thinking, what the heck? Like I thought it was a tree that was back there because they have a tire swing on there. And then I walked closer to it, and come to find out, it was actually a person that was standing right there. I mean, this was a full moon too, so you can see the silhouette clearly. And
Okay.
then as I got closer, it kind of like kind of hunched over and it crawled away. It looked like. And then by the time I got to the back door and opened it, it was gone.
So
And
did it
then
resemble a Sasquatch, or what do you
yeah,
think it
it
was?
was actually I'm assuming it was because I'm a big guy. I'm almost 6 foot and I had like really broad shoulders.
Mhm.
But then that thing was actually bigger than me.
Right.
And that window is like about the bottom of the window is about maybe I would say 6 feet off the ground. But then the top of the window was kind of like where my chin is at. It
Mhm.
was kind of like in that area. So that thing had to be pushing about 7, almost 8 feet tall, maybe. So it was pretty
Interesting.
big.
So in this connecting of seeing them, did you have any other connecting with them? Did you have, like with me, the first time I saw a Sasquatch, it told me go home. I heard it in my head. It was like what I call a thought drop, where
Mhm.
I don't audibly hear a voice talking, but in my mind I hear it. It's like it's not
Oh
my
yeah,
own thought. I know it's not mine.
yeah.
And it doesn't sound like my voice. It's somebody else talking. And
I
it's
get the
like,
same thing too.
do you? Okay. So did
Yeah,
you hear anything when you saw this? Did you get
I
anything?
I actually have not. I have not.
Okay. Well, that's coming. Trust me, it'll come,
Yeah.
because they really like to connect with us on that level. And what I found is the Sasquatches that I've connected with, they speak slower and almost guttural. They speak
Mhm.
like in a broken English almost, where they speak very pragmatically, very simple phrases, very simple words, basic communication, but there's no misunderstanding what they're trying to say to you. You'll know, there's also a vibe. They have such an incredible energy that they bring with them, that you feel things from them as well. I'm sure because you're empathic, that's part of what comes with the package. And
Mhm.
so you'll feel their sense. If they're angry, they're frustrated, they're curious. I'm super curious and I'm the same way. I walk towards things that most people would run away from, because I have this innate sense that I know I'm okay. I know I'm
Mhm.
here for this. This is part of what I do. And so they figure that out, and I'm not going to shoot at them. I'm not, I have no desire to harm them. I just want to connect. And so at some level that happens. I'm not sure how or why, but I know it does. So it's kind of exciting, because wow, what are you? And tell me about yourself. It'd be great
Yeah.
if you could pull up a chair and offer them a cup of coffee. Hey, let's talk. It'd be great if it worked like that. It doesn't quite work like that, but yeah. So what other types of cryptids have you encountered and what happened?
Um, actually, I'm like about 75% sure it was a dog man. Um, it happened, I would say about the same year.
Mhm,
Yeah, about the same year. That was when it was like winter time, and it was at my ex's house as well.
mhm,
We had a friend that came over and we were playing Monopoly, and we were just like having a game night, just having fun.
mhm,
And then it was like hitting around 11, 12 o'clock at night. So she said that her mom wants her to come home. So we decided to drive her back into Gallup. And there's this highway south of Gallup from where we're at. It kind of goes up a hill. And my ex was kind of dozing off, and everybody in the back were on their phone as usual. And I was driving, and I'm always aware at night, especially at night when I'm driving. I'm like aware because when you leave my town, Gallup, it's like there's horses, there's cattle, there's dogs, everything you can really think about that lives on a ranch, that really literally you walk on the side of the road. So I'm always aware. And then that one night, I seen something on the side of the road that looked like a dog, and I kind of slowed down, and I was just looking at it, and then it kind of walked across like onto the road, I would say. And it once it did that, I noticed that it wasn't a dog. It was too big of a figure to be a dog, and it started creeping towards the middle of the road, and we were the only ones on that road at the time. Once it got to the center lane, um, it was like maybe 6 feet long from nose to tail.
Okay.
And I was thinking, that's a really big dog. That I mean, that has to be like a wolf type of animal, you know.
Sure. Sure.
But then we don't have no wolves around here. We only
Okay.
have coyotes and just plain dogs. And as it was crossing the road, I seen how long the arms were, and it was like a
Mhm.
hunched over person, and it kind of crept across to the opposite lane onto the shoulder, and it was like as soon as we passed it, I looked that way at it again, just before the headlights passed it, and I actually saw the face of a wolf, and the eyes were yellow, and it was just looking back at me. And I looked at my ex, and I told her, "Did you just see that?" And then she looked at me with like really big eyes, and she was freaked out. She was so scared, and
Oh yeah.
she was like, "No, I didn't see it, but all I saw was a black mist go across the road." It
Yeah.
was like a black cloud, how she described it. It just went across the road. But for me, I seen the form of it.
Yeah.
And she was too scared to really say anything about it. And her sister and our friend were in the back and they didn't see it. And then we were coming back and she was too scared to go back on the road. But I said, we either go that way or we go around. And
Right.
going around, it's more of a darker road and there's no street lights or anything on that road.
Yeah. No
So we
thanks.
just went back. Yeah, so we just went straight through there again, but we didn't see anything. And I kind of questioned it and everything, and I never really knew much about dogmen. I knew about werewolves, but
Right.
I thought they were just more of like a lore or like a like a
Sure.
mythology.
Right.
But now that I think about it, the more people are coming out with their dogman stories, their werewolf stories. So now it kind of led me to that conclusion that I seen a dogman, because
Yeah.
around here in our tradition we have a thing called skinwalkers,
Right.
and that was not skinwalker because I know how they look.
Right.
But this was actually the what you would see in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I actually had something come up in a seance recently. So I've been doing more study on dogmen because
mhm,
I'm like with you. The stuff about werewolves to me has been such so many legends, so many stories, so many movies. I mean, there's tons of stuff on them.
mhm,
But I have friends that actually study dogmen and werewolves, and so they've explained to me some of the difference in them and their bodies and how they look. And this imagery that I got a couple weeks ago was unmistakable. It was not a dog. It was not a coyote. It was not a wolf. And it certainly was not a werewolf. I saw a dog man in this imagery that I had. And there was a lot of them. And I thought, what in the world? So that's a story for another time. But yeah, they're very different. They're very distinguishably different and they are enormous.
yeah,
They're not like a dog in that sense. They're very big. And I think the limbs are one of the things that really threw me because their shoulders are bigger and rounder and their front legs are so much longer than what
yeah.
a normal dog or wolf would have. So yeah. So did you see anything else like that or what else? So when you talked about um skinwalkers, so where have you seen them and what did you notice about them when you saw them?
Well, it's something you grow up with. If you're Navajo and you grow up on the reservation, it's
Okay.
something that you just grow up with, and you
Okay.
hear things. You hear it every time you go on the res. But going into detail about it, they're okay. So like you're gonna hear different stories from different parts of the reservation and different
Sure.
people and everything. But from what I was told was that they're people. They're just normal people like us,
Right.
but they are practicing the bad medicine that we were taught to be using as good, but they're
Right.
using it as bad to hurt other people out of jealousy, out of hatred,
Right.
and that's the main conception of it. But if I would have to say anything, it only really resides here on the reservation. And if there's anything else out there, like on TikTok, YouTube, that say there's skinwalkers out there, then it's not true, honestly.
Yeah.
Because there are things out there that do shapeshift. there
Hmm.
are other tribes that have things that are shapeshifters, but
Right.
skinwalkers were mainly to us
Yeah.
Navos. But going back to how they look, they have paint. Like most of them have black paint and like white stripes on their face or red
Okay.
stripes. They
Okay.
all have like a specific meaning of them. But the ones that I've seen all were always black.
Okay.
And they have like a white stripe on their cheeks and then on the side.
Okay.
And they mainly use coyote skins because in our tradition coyotes are a trickster and
Okay.
they always bring bad luck and um warn us about things. And they can even transform themselves into like a house cat, a dog, horses, as long as they have that pelt, the pelt of the animal, they can transform into that.
Huh.
And
That's interesting.
yeah, and it's really dark when you go down that rabbit hole. It's a very dark thing that they do. But going back to when I first seen one, it was when I was um about 13 or 14. This happened back in 2014 actually. It was when I was staying up one night. I was actually playing a video game and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning,
Mm.
way beyond my bedtime, and I was
Right.
supposed to be asleep and then my mom was asleep and I was just kind of keeping the TV low and then I kept hearing something at the window, and I thought it was coming from the video game that I was playing. So every
Right.
time I pause it, it stops. And then I hear it again, and this went on for like 5 minutes or so. And then I finally got tired of it. I paused the game and I was like waiting for it. And then just then I heard like tapping, like very fast tapping at the window. And then
Hmm.
that sent chills throughout my whole body. I was like, what the heck? Like, did I just hear something at the window?
Right.
And then I was like, I was so scared. I was actually scared. I was frightened and everything. But part of me told me I had to get up and go check it because my dad was he was away for work, so the only one home was just me and my mom.
Oh, yeah.
And growing up, my dad always told me, "You're the man in the house, and I'm not home, so you have to protect." So I was like, "Okay, I got to get up then."
Right.
So
Sure.
so I got up and I walked towards the kitchen where I was hearing it, and then I actually seen like an old lady's finger, old lady's hand actually, if you would say, but she was like tapping the window, like very, very fast. And then her nails, I would say they were about that long.
Oh,
And
wow.
she was just tapping it, and her hand was painted like an ashy black and gray kind of.
Okay.
And she was just tapping it. And then I was like, what the heck? I kind of froze and I was just watching it. And then just then you can hear it run off because we have like gravel on the side of our house. And
Right.
then you can hear the gravel rolling and she was running away. And just then the dogs actually chased after it. And I was surprised that the dogs weren't barking when she made her way to the house. But
Right.
then after she ran off, you can hear the dogs running after her.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, it's time to go to bed then. So I turned off the game and I fell asleep. And I woke up, I would say like 3 hours later when the sun was barely peeking up. And
Hmm.
then I told my mom about what I saw. And my mom, she's Christian and she doesn't believe in our tradition ways, but
Gotcha.
I was raised tradition or Christian, and somewhere along the way I kind of went back to our traditional ways.
Right.
So, but I did believe it, and she just kind of brushed it off. She told me they're not real.
Mm.
They're not there. They don't do that stuff.
Right.
So, me being curious as I am, I went outside and I was walking around. I seen the gravel where it was pushed away from the window, and my uncle actually taught me how to track animals. So I followed it
Hmm.
about maybe a good 150 yards away from our house. And it led up to an area where there was sand and it laid down right there. And you can see the imprint of the arm and the hip and the legs where it actually laid down and it was like rolling over. And then it was kind of crazy because you can actually see the imprint of the hair and the
Wow.
sand. And as it rolled maybe about 5 feet or so. And then it got up and there was handprints in the sand and then where the knee pushed down into the sand and
Hmm.
it got up and it walked away in human footprints. But then leading up to it, it was dog tracks.
Wow.
So I'm assuming that as it was running, it rolled and transformed back into a
That's what I
person
was
and
just
it
gonna
walked
say.
away.
That's what it sounds
Yeah.
like. Yeah. That's
Yeah, and then
incredible.
I kept following it, but then it led me up to an area where there was rocks. So that was where it escaped, going on top of the rock, so I wouldn't be able to track it.
Right.
And I'm assuming it probably knew I was gonna do something to that. So, but kind of going back to it is there's actually a person that doesn't live too far away from us that actually was rumored, that is still being rumored as one as being a skinwalker. So everybody kind of points their finger at that person and
Sure.
say this and that. So that's kind of my conclusion of who it was. But
Interesting. So maybe they were just checking you out. Just they probably had a vibe on you and figured they better check on you.
honestly, I don't think so because, like I said, that was way before I got my gift and really knew I had it. But
Right.
it's mainly due because we had this dispute over the land,
Oh,
and they were kind of like mad at my family for that. So they
gotcha.
always they always picked on our specifically my dad, my uncle, and my grandmother. So they mainly picked on us for all that stuff.
Gotcha.
So
That makes sense. That makes sense. Wow. That's got to be incredible having that. So your dad didn't. So did you tell your dad about it later when he got it? Did you kind of share with him what you saw?
I did. I kind of ran it by him, and he just told me, "Well, next time put some ashes on," because in Navajo tradition, with ashes is like holy water to us.
Okay.
So he just told me put some ashes on, put some ashes on the door, and then he also got after me for being up so late, because like
Of
I said,
course.
traditionally, yeah, traditionally we're not supposed to be up
Busted.
that late. Yeah. So he got after me. He told me not to be staying up late, and he told me to get
Right.
to bed before 12, and then
Right.
this and that, and yeah, and that's been an ongoing occurrence as far back as I can remember. It's almost like every few months it would always come back. And then the most recent one was back in April of last year.
Hmm.
And I actually have a picture of the coyote pelt that fell off of it. And
Awesome.
yeah, the story goes is that my stepmom, um she works graveyard shift at the gas station in our town.
Hmm.
So she came home and she didn't see anything out of the ordinary. She came home, she went to sleep, and it was time for her to pick up my siblings from the bus stop. And then as she was leaving, she didn't notice anything as well until she came back home and she seen the coyote pelt on the porch. And she was like freaked out because, like I said, if you see something like that in our tribe, it's like a bad omen. It's like, and
Sure.
it's not supposed to be there.
Right.
And instantly she took a picture of it and she sent it to us, to me and my dad, because we are working.
Yeah.
And then when I got it, I looked at it and I was like, what the heck? Like, is this really what I'm looking at, And then I showed my
Sure.
dad, and then he just told me in Navajo, he just told me just kind of don't say anything about it, kind of keep it to us. So I was like,
Right.
okay. And then he's like, we'll go back up there and we'll check it out. And then we when we got off work, we went back up there, and sure enough, it was still right there. And then we're looking at it and we're like kind of trying to come to a conclusion that maybe the dogs brought it home.
Oh,
Like maybe, yeah, maybe there was a coyote that died over the hill and they actually brought it back.
okay.
But then looking at it, it was like you can see the inside of it was perfectly tanned, like someone actually took the time to like prep it and take care of it and everything.
Sure.
And then even the eyes, around the eyes, it was actually cut out like perfectly, like with a scissors or like a knife.
Okay.
And it had like a certain smell to it. It was like not something dead, but it was more of like a sweet rotten smell.
Interesting.
And yeah, and then my hand, my hand actually started shaking and it was like hurting. And then it kept telling me, there's someone watching us. There's someone watching us. There's
Ah,
someone looking at us. And
right.
I told my dad and my stepmom, and then we called my cousin over because she's also a hand trembler.
Okay.
And then we waited for her to come by, and then we got a fire ready. We got everything ready for our little ceremony.
Hmm.
and she's like more advanced into this, so she kind of led me through it, and she told me what to do with it. And we just put ashes on it, and we kind of just prepared it for what to do. And we were told to put it inside of a bucket or whatever we can to
Hmm.
just kind of contain it. And that's what we did. So we went inside, we did our thing, and then she told us we need to go burn it. And then she
Yeah.
chose me and my uncle to go outside and do it.
Hmm.
And as we were doing it, there was somebody whistling at us north of where we're at. There was someone whistling, and there was like this tree that was right there, and you can see someone kind of poking their head out watching us, and that
Mm.
whistling just kept got louder and louder. And then as we built the fire on top of it, it wasn't burning. Like it wouldn't catch on fire. The woods were burning, but it wouldn't singe their hair or anything. And just then a gust of wind kept trying to blow out the fire.
Oh, wow.
It was doing its best to blow it out, and it was actually spreading the ashes into the grass. So we had to kind of stomp on it and make sure it didn't catch anything on fire.
Wow.
And then um I had my firearm on my side, and I took a shot at it where that tree was, and then just then the whistling stopped. And I was okay. And then I looked back down, and then just then I saw it catch on fire. Like you just pour like gasoline on it, it just caught on fire.
Wow.
Yeah, and then my uncle was just looking at me like he's like in his 60s too, and he never seen anything like that, and he never experienced anything like that. And we were just looking at each other like, okay, we need to wait here till it burns completely, and then kind of
Right. Oh,
spread
yeah.
it out and make sure the ashes don't catch anything else on fire. But it
Right.
took like a good 10 minutes to burn, and then we didn't hear anything again. And then we went back inside, and then my cousin told us who's doing it, why they're doing it, and stuff like that. And that night, my dad told me that it was like an eerie silence. Like it was just too quiet because mainly, like I said, if growing up on the reservation and you hear dogs barking, so that's just something that's normal that came normal
Right.
to us. But when
Right.
it's silent, it's creepy when the
I
dogs are
agree.
not barking.
Yeah. No,
So
that's I've tried to explain to people when they're listening to stories about Sasquatch in the woods. The woods have their own background noise.
yeah,
There's little critters running around, and there's birds, and there's wind rustling leaves. There's always noise. It's not quiet. It's
yeah,
quieter than a freeway, but it's a different kind of noise. And so when you're outside and there's dead silence, when there's nothing moving, something's going on. It is not a normal
yeah.
silence. It's not normal at all. So yeah, no, I get it. I totally get that.
Would you
It's
like to see
just
the picture?
incredible. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know if
I
you
would
can
love
actually see
to.
it, but this is what it looks like.
Oh yeah. Wow. So the head's still intact and everything.
Yeah,
So
and
for
then like I said, you can actually see the where the eye holes were actually cut out and everything.
so for those of you that are listening to this, not watching this, he's showing me a picture of this coyote skin with the head intact. I can see teeth and the nose and basically an empty eye socket, the ears, everything's intact. The fur looks perfect. I mean, it looks like a completely intact piece of animal, the remnant of an animal. Um, and I don't know, that should have burned right away. There's no
Yeah, and
reason why
then
that shouldn't have just lit on
see
fire. It's hair. Yeah, it
that's
should have
where it
burned.
is. You can see where it's perfectly tanned on the inside too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was treated. That was not just a
Yeah,
leftover from a fight of some kind. Yeah, clearly. Wow.
and then what my cousin told me was that um it was actually on top of the house when that happened because I guess it
Really?
was leaning over, and
Oh,
the pelt actually like fell off of it. And
oh wow.
as it was falling, I guess it reached out and tried catching it, but then throwing its weight forward, it actually fell off the roof,
Oh wow.
and then just then it landed on that porch right there, and for some reason the dogs were actually sleeping right there under their vehicles.
Oh wow.
So the dogs woke up and they started chasing after it because my stepmom did hear the dogs barking, but so she didn't get up and check it. And then
Right.
it's kind of funny because I think one of the dogs actually bit it because it has an arm print on one of the cars that were parked there. You can
Oh.
see the arm print right here, and the hand swipe like it pushed itself up,
Oh,
and then
wow.
it ran between the vehicles up the hill.
Wow. That's incredible. So what did you think when
Yeah,
all this happened? I mean, what was your first thought? I mean, wow, it's real. It's in my yard. I mean, what did you think about all that?
I was actually thinking, I'm surprised it did it during the day
Yeah. That's pretty
because
that's pretty
yeah,
bold, actually.
yeah,
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
and then to be honest, it's someone that we know that was doing it to us, which was the
Uh,
crazy part.
yeah.
So that's the main part that's just surprised me was knowing who did it.
Yeah. Yeah. I That's always astounding. You tend to think of that kind of thing where someone's doing something negative. Well, that happens to other people. That doesn't happen to me. We're always
Yeah,
shocked when bad things happen or things that are out of the ordinary happen to us because that's just a story somebody else tells. That's not things
yeah,
that happen in my life. I don't deal with that. That's not part of my life. And then boom, it's in your lap. It's like,
yeah,
oh, I guess I am going to deal with this. Okay. Yeah. Surprise.
yeah.
Wow. So, what other types of cryptids have you encountered that you can think about that you would share?
Mm, well, I didn't necessarily see it,
Right.
but my cousin said that she's seen, and this is still going on to this day right now, but my cousin's seen like a like a hyena type creature on
Okay.
two legs, and
Okay.
even like about a month ago, my uncle said he still sees it around.
Oh,
But
wow.
this happened like 10 years ago as well.
Mhm.
One night she was home alone, and my uncle wasn't home, and I just got done shopping with her that evening because on the reservation we don't have like heaters or like furnace in our homes, so we run it
Okay.
off firewood. So I was actually helping her out and everything, and I went home and I went to bed, and then my dad was home for the weekend. He came home from work, and like I said, this happened early in the morning. She came running up, scared out of her mind. She was banging on the door, crying, screaming. And then my dad woke up, and they were like talking to her and like trying to ask her what's going on, like what happened. And after like a few minutes or so, she finally caught her breath, and she told us she was hearing something at the door trying to open it. Like it
Oh.
kept shaking the doorknob, and it was like pushing on the door. And then she said it was going on for like 30 minutes or so. It went around the house, like it was rubbing its body against the house and pushing on it kind of.
Hmm.
And then she said it finally made its way up to the front window. And it was like she said she can see the handprint on the window and like pressing on it. And then just then she said it punched through the window. And then she said it was like a long, hairy arm, and it was like a brownish black color, I would say. Like kind of how she described it as well. And it was like reaching in, it was like growling and making noise. And then she was so scared, and the window, that front window is like literally 3 or 4 feet away from the front door. She just swung that door open and she took off running, even though she knew it was right there. She took off running up the hill to our house. And then my dad told me to get the gun, and he told me to go down there and go check it. I don't
Right.
know why he didn't want to, but I think he was more scared than me. That's how I
Maybe.
come to
Yeah.
think about it. But yeah, he told me to go down there, and he told my mom to go with me. And she had the spotlight. I had the gun, and she was too scared to go back down there. But she had to lock the door up, and she had to make sure the dogs were away from the area and stuff like that.
Right.
So we went down there, and sure enough, I seen the window. It was broken, and I
That's what I was
thought it
just
was
gonna
like,
ask. Did it break the window? So it did
yeah,
break the window.
yeah.
Okay.
And then the glass was on the inside of the inside the house, like it
Mm,
pushed its way inwards.
right. Right.
So I was looking at it, and I was like trying to look for tracks. And then she was getting some of her stuff, and then she was like trying to rush around. And then I heard something. There's like a little hill in front of my uncle's house. And then I heard the rocks rolling down from the hill, and I grabbed my flashlight from my mom. I shined it up there, and then I was like, "Look!" I said, "Look, there's something right there." Just then, we saw like the hind part of the animal go behind a tree, and it took off running. And then it
Oh,
was
wow.
something like kind of heavy because those rocks kept rolling down from the hill, and it ran
Right.
over.
Right.
And then I wanted to scare it, so I took a couple of shots at it, and I think I might have scared it off because it took off running faster than I heard it taking off. And my mom was telling me yee, like in her tradition we say yee yeah when we see something scary. So
Mm.
she was saying yee yee. She's like, come on, let's go. And then um my cousin heard him slam the door, she heard him locked it, and they took off before I can turn around and turn like run after them, you know.
Hmm.
And then yeah, and then the next day we went back over there, and there was actually like a big dog print. It was like about that big,
Mm.
and it was like maybe 3 or 4 inches across. It was really big, and ever since then we really haven't seen it. But we my uncle was saying that he sees it every now and then just recently he said it was digging through his trash, and it was like taking stuff out of there, and it's so big, and I'm guessing it's so scary that even his dog won't bark at it or chase after it, even though it's a pit bull.
Wow.
And yeah, it's too scared to do anything about it.
Could it be a chupacabra of some kind?
I wouldn't think so. Um, because like I said, he's the way he described it is it being like a hyena and standing upright on 2 legs. So I'm trying to come to a conclusion. It's a dog man, you know.
Sure.
But then the way he described it was like one of those striped hyenas from Africa.
I was going
He
to
said,
say, because a hyena has a very distinct hide.
yeah,
They're very unique. They're incredibly unique. But yeah, I agree that it's definitely not a regular dog at all, and
yeah,
it's a something. But honestly, there's so many cryptids that we have still not
yeah.
seen, and I I'm constantly studying the paranormal because, like I said, it's my normal, and I'm always thrilled and amazed and kind of shocked, I guess, how many creatures are not around anymore, supposedly.
Hmm.
And then maybe, something is AI generated, or maybe it's real. You never know. But
Yeah,
all these images pop up on TikTok or these other things that look like maybe. I mean, some of them you can clearly tell they're faked, but
yeah.
there's so many creatures, so very many that have been on this planet forever. And we just haven't seen them. They haven't been
Mhm.
around. So who knows? It might be a type of hyena or something or another type of dog man. The only dog men that I've seen are all black. But just
Yeah.
like dogs, they have so many different fur types. Who knows?
I mean, it kind of
Maybe it's
goes
a
with
crossbreed.
Bigfoot, you know.
Right.
There's
Well,
Yetis. There's what do they call it in Australia? The Yowie.
right. Yeah, there's a bunch. And
Yeah,
they all have different fur. They have
yeah,
different body sizes. I mean, the Bigfoot that I saw was massive. It was standing next to a small dumpster, and its hip was at the top of the dumpster, which is 4 feet off the ground.
yeah,
So I know that what I saw was like 9 or almost 10 feet tall. It was
yeah.
humongous. So the fur that you guys have seen, maybe it is like a hyena. Who knows? That's incredible. That's incredible. So
Yeah, I was actually thinking about getting some trail cameras and putting it up right there, and maybe hoping that I would capture a picture or video of it, you know?
no, I think that's a good idea. I've actually
Yeah.
been thinking about putting them all around my house because I hear things plenty. I hear stuff around me, and I'm right next to a couple of lakes. They're not very big, but
Hmm.
it's a very heavily wooded area, and things walk through. And we have like a game trail through our yard. We have deer and bunnies and squirrels and all kinds of little raccoons and stuff that wander through. But I know there's other things too because I hear
Yeah.
stuff, and I feel things from time to time. And so I would like to see them, I'd like to spot them. I don't want to scare the daylights out of anything that's not here to harm me, but I know that lights sometimes will help deter things that are meaning to do you harm. They don't like to be in broad light. So that's not a bad idea either. So I want to change gears a little bit and let's talk a little bit more about your gifts. So
Okay.
I'm curious, um, do you have something that you do every day to kind of focus your energy? Do you do anything to restore your energy? Do you meditate? Do you pray? What do you do for yourself to kind of tune into that part of your life? Is that just something that happens when it happens? Or are you actually doing some things to help focus your energies?
Um, there's really nothing specific actually that I do for it. It's I guess the best way to say it is like it's always be with me no matter where I go. It's just someone that follows me around,
Yeah.
and it's if there's something bad, it'll let me know. If there's something good, it'll always tell me. So there's really like no way I can really turn it on or off, you know.
Okay.
But I'm not exactly sure if that answered your question, but
No, that's fair. No, that's totally fair. So, do you feel like you have spirit guides? And if you do, who are they and what are they like for you? Do they talk to you? Do you feel them? Tell me about that.
um yeah, I guess I would say it's in our tradition they're called Diendine. It's translated to holy people.
Okay.
And those are the ones that actually go around and watch the people and help people through things. And those are actually the ones you actually pray to as well.
Okay.
And the way it was shown to me was I'm like the middleman between the reality of that one and our reality.
Right.
And my gift is just there to kind of help channel it and guide me through it. That's kind of how
Okay.
it was shown to me.
Okay. So, do you have anything that you would like to be able to do that you don't do already? Or do you have like a goal for this next couple years of stuff that you want to do?
Yeah, I actually want to learn how to do the prayers that the other medicine men do.
Okay.
The other ceremonies that they also do, and the songs that they sing. That's one of my goals to do because it actually teaches me, but it's kind of hard to say the songs, like sing the songs, because we have to sing it in our language, you know.
Sure.
And
Sure.
I'm still learning how to pronounce the words because Navajo is one of the hardest
It is.
dialects to say, you know.
That's what I understand. I understand. Yeah, definitely. I would have to say, from my own personal experience, um, those are very valuable and you need to know those.
Mm,
But my suspicion is that a lot of things that you're going to come across, you're going to have your own voice and your own prayer that may be just in English, but it'll be just as wise and just as effective because your spirit guides are never going to let you hang. If you don't
yeah,
know how to say something in your native language that you would normally say like someone else, that's okay. You're a modern medicine man, so you're going to do things in a way that relates to your generation. There's an old saying that there's always a voice for each generation. And what that means is um, we have musicians that will speak to us through their music for our generation that didn't exist 100 years ago because they had a different sound and they had a different
mm,
need and a different resonance that they connect with. So for this era that you're in, um, I just want to give you a little confidence because I really think that you are very gifted and I feel like part of your soul is going like this, like, no, no, not yet, no. And it's already there. You've got a lot more going on. And I think whatever you decide to exercise, you're going to have no trouble. I really feel that. I think you're going to be just fine. Um, but you're going to have your own voice and
yeah,
it's going to be whatever, your spirit guides are encouraging you to do. And the more connected you are to them and the more you talk to them and listen, the stronger it's going to be because it's a tool. It's
yeah,
just like learning a language. The more you do it, the better you get. It's all going to come together. So I think you're going to do a lot more stuff in the next few years. I really do.
Yeah, that actually makes sense too, because like I said, when it speaks to me in my native tongue, Navajo,
Hmm.
but it's some words are hard to understand because from what I can hear is it's the old language that we used
Sure.
to use like 200 or 300 years ago.
Right.
But it also like kind of understands me, so it talks to me like in a certain way. I guess it translates itself to English, I would say.
Sure.
But
Sure.
when I'm talking to it, when I'm like trying to help someone out, like asking the questions and stuff, it I can talk to in English, and then if I have a little bit of trouble, I'll say the Navajo word because in my
Right.
mind I can speak full fluent Navajo in my
Sure.
mind. But
Sure.
when it comes to speaking it with my tongue, it doesn't come out right.
Right.
So that part actually makes sense to me.
No, I get it. I
Yeah.
learned years ago, and I had no idea this was a thing, but like in ancient Hebrew, there was Hebrew for rabbis and
Mhm.
regular people Hebrew. They're separate, and they actually
Yeah.
have separate writing. So they're, the scrolls that have the ancient Hebrew and the Old Testament stuff is an ancient rabbi Hebrew, which is not the same. It's
Mhm.
unique. So it does make complete sense to me that in this day and age, you got to have your own things. You got to have things that connect with you. And
Yeah.
the old stuff is a treasure and a gift, but it's going to take a minute before that connects. So I'm glad that you're figuring that out, because you probably have spirit guide dialect that you're getting from them communicating with you, and you'll get it. You'll get it.
Yeah.
And it'd be great if someone could just sit you down and go, okay, well, listen to these tapes and audio files and make a bunch of notes and practice, and you'll get it. It doesn't work like that. It's trial and error by fire. You'll
Yeah.
get it. It's just going to
I, w-
take a while.
I
Yeah.
wish it was like that, but there's really no like no written history really or like any audios of like our language. It's just
Right.
all in person. You gotta listen to your elders, you gotta listen to the way they talk,
Right.
how they say it, and it's crazy because you can say so many things in one sentence
Yeah.
and it can mean anything, you know. Changing one little word can make the whole sentence off.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how my grandma, before she passed, all she ever spoke was full Navajo. So that's where I had to learn is
Oh, sure.
yeah, I had to understand her even at a very young age because she helped raise me. And back then I didn't know Navajo, so I was trying to understand her, and she would actually get mad at me and kind of yell at me. And I was like, okay, I'm trying to learn. Just give me some time, you know.
Right.
But then to the point where the years grown leading up to when she passed away, I was more understanding of her, and I was able to speak to her in Navajo.
Nice.
And just seeing her face light up whenever I spoke to her in Navajo, it actually made me happy, you know.
Oh, sure. That had to be cool. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure she loved it. She was probably going, finally, he finally
Yeah.
gets it. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Grandparents are the bomb. They're the best. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, do you feel like your kids are going to be following in your footsteps? Do you talk to them about this? Are they involved?
Um, Traditionally, yeah, I speak to them. In Navajo, I tell them like how to say our animals in Navajo, our fruits, our vegetables, our food, basically. I tell them how to say it, and even in our schools around here, they learn Navajo from there. So that one is good. I'm not too worried about that. But like as for like history and our traditional wise, it's kind of hard to teach them, but I'm teaching them slowly. But as for like the dark side of it, I'm keeping that until like they're more growing and understanding of it, you know.
Right.
But for now, I'm just telling them you're not supposed to cry at night. You're not supposed to be up late at night. So that's the whole point of why I have a bedtime for them at 8 o'clock, you know,
Right.
because of that. And it's just like the old school teachings that I was raised with. I'm trying to blend that into our generation nowadays, you know.
Right. You're creating your own culture with them,
Yeah, yeah,
because this these generations, the alpha generation is definitely bombarded with technology. There's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much information coming at them at high speed all the time. They don't have any downtime. I
Mm,
have a story that I share about one of my first encounters with a murderer when I was a teenager. And this was before cell phones, and it was before tablets, and there was no internet. It was in the early 70s. And it was back when you would sit in a car and listen to the radio, and whoever was driving was going to determine what music you were going to listen to. And that was it.
yeah.
All you had, you know, talk to the driver, look out the window. That was it.
Mm,
You were not bombarded with things in your face all the time. And so I try really hard to keep in mind, I mean, gosh, they don't get to breathe. They don't have any
mhm.
quiet time. Zero. Um, so I really hope that we get a chance to pass along this stuff. That's partly why I do the podcast, because I want my granddaughters, when they're ready, to have all this stuff to look at
Yeah.
and experience and go, oh, okay. I I would have loved to sat down with my grandfather. My great grandfather shows up at my seances sometimes, and it's usually to chew me out and tell me that I need to do something or not do something. Um, he came up to me one night, and I was getting ready to do a seance, and he said, "Shut it down. It's a full moon and you're tired. Not a good combination. Shut it down." And I just went, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "I would never do this." He goes, "I don't want you to do this tonight. You need to rest." And I was like, "All right." But it's like we don't have conversations about what he did in the 20s, but he'll come and tell me, "Don't do that."
Yeah.
But I'm grateful. At least I got something. I mean, he's still teaching me stuff, but it's in fragments. It's in little bits and pieces. Um, yeah, it would be like a big bowl of spaghetti. I'd want to eat the whole thing. I want to know all of it. Right now, I'm super curious. I want to know all of it. I connected with a mother tree. I don't know what that's called. It's like a grouping of trees. There's this one cemetery that's kind of out in the boonies where we live, and I just felt really strongly we needed to go to this one cemetery. And so my husband and I went up there, and there's this massive tree. I mean, honestly, Lee, I can't even describe how big this stupid tree is. It's humongous. But I just felt such a good vibe from it. And I communicated with it briefly, and I even hugged it. I mean, I just went up and just put my arms around it and hung on to it for a minute because it felt
Mhm.
so good. And it told me, it said, "You can talk to me anytime you want." And it said, "The cherry tree in your yard, it's still connected to me. Just put your arms around that tree and talk, and I'll hear you." And it's like, what? It was the craziest thing. But okay, I watched this special a couple of years ago on Netflix, called Fungi, I think it's called, and it
Mhm.
basically described what's in that, Avatar movie where they had the mother tree and it's
Oh,
connected to
yeah.
the whole planet,
Yeah.
right? So this documentary called Fungi is literally that. It describes how mushrooms and other things that grow on the floor of a forest are instantaneously affected by anything going on hundreds of miles away in the same forest. They instantaneously respond. Scientists have proven that if they cut a tree or do anything to a tree on one side, hundreds of miles away, all of the wildlife feels it. They sense it. They actually have an electronic response to it, which, yeah, that's just like
Yeah.
Avatar. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. And it's like, they are all connected. They say that fungi is like the biggest living organism on the planet. It's
Mhm.
everywhere. I think that's incredible. Who knew? That's not something I learned in science class. That's crazy. That's amazing that
Yeah.
we're so connected.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's like what they
definitely.
say, you learn something new every day, right?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. But it's exciting. There's so much happening all the
Yeah.
time. And for me, the supernatural it's like a basket of fun. There's so much cool stuff going on. And even the scary stuff is cool because it's stuff I didn't know or stuff that I wasn't aware of. And yeah, now I'm going to be looking out for hyenas because I didn't know they were around. Who knows? I mean,
You know
that's
something?
incredible.
You know something interesting right now?
What's that?
was my gift actually, I guess to translate it in a way, I guess you would say it's like a deja vu or like a vision. But us talking like this right now, I actually
Mhm.
seen it maybe about 10 months ago or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
just the way the whole setup is right here, and I just seen you laughing, and back then I was like wondering who's that person I'm talking to, and I seen your face, my face on the screen, and just like the whole setup that's right here on my desk. It's like it just came to
And
me like, oh shoot, I just seen this,
I love that when that
and
happens.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then it's not the first time, but every time it shows me something, it surprises me because like every job site I worked on and everything, it showed me maybe about a year before I've actually went to that job site. And
that's
even
awesome.
to down to the point of where I met my girlfriend, and we never met each other. Every time we like I know her family,
Mhm.
but we never met in person. We never met face to face. And when we first got together, she would always tell me, I seen this before. And she would always describe the thing that we saw or the way we were like sitting or something. And then the same with me. I would always see it, but then it was like maybe 2, 3 years before that actual moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
you
guess
guys have
it
that
still
in
surprises
common.
me. Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
she's actually gifted like me, and but hers is not to the point where it's she's a hand trembler, but she's more of a person that when she goes to sleep, she dreams things and it shows her things and it talks to her in her sleep.
Nice.
And I guess the way to put it is like I'm like a satellite to other hand tremblers that are just starting off. I'm like a
Yeah.
satellite to them, and they can use my gift and amplify it for them.
No, that's totally true. There
Yeah.
are some people I have a friend that's in New York, and I just talked to him this morning, and we call him the psychic can opener because whenever anybody talks to him, you're like on a high for days. He
Mhm.
he he is just like this incredible person, and he doesn't call himself a psychic at all. He doesn't sign himself as that at all. He's a researcher, but he grew up around psychics and mediums and, people that did tarot and all these things, and it was just something he grew up around. He's Italian, and
Mhm.
it's like that was just part of his life, and he went to Catholic school, and, all these things were all part of his life. They were all normal, but he learned that the paranormal was everywhere all the time. That was just what he grew up with, and so, now as a, an older person that's been researching for over 40 years, he's so open to different things. He's seen so many things and,
Mhm.
been around dogmen and, Bigfoots and everything and seen all kinds of things. And it still lights a trigger. It's like whenever he starts talking about that stuff, you can feel that energy from him. And it's like, that's what's probably happening with you too, because that happens with my husband.
Yeah.
And that we actually have had dreams that were together at the same time. We've actually dreamt of past lives together and seen the same things together, which is amazing. I have a cousin that does like your girlfriend does, that has dreams about things that are going to
Yeah.
happen, or it's almost always through dreams. She doesn't have as many awake moments with it like I do, but sometimes. And so that's why I'm fascinated. I love to ask people, how does it work for you? Because it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Not everybody deals with it the same way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, but it works. It all works, it all comes together. Like, when you're talking about that you sense things about people's health, um, sometimes when I do a reading for people, um, I just close my eyes and I think about their name and I think about the person, and most of the readings I do are not in person. I very seldom do them in person. Most always it's on the phone or on the internet, and, if I don't get something right away, I immediately start to focus on the whole person, and I just see like a white light that goes around the whole person, and then if anything dark, a shadow pops up, I know that they got a problem in that area, so then I focus on it, and that's
Mhm.
when my spirit guides will tell me, "Oh, they're low on vitamin D, or they're low on calcium, or they need to get an X-ray for this," or whatever it is. So I do a little bit of medical psychic work, not all the time, but it's something that I do periodically. But it's, I don't know why I just started thinking that way or focusing that way, but it works.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So it's fun. I really enjoy talking to other psychics because it's an amazing life that we have. We have an incredible life. It's not uncomplicated. It's not any less crazy. And I wish that our gifts would work for us more. So when you get an insight and you get a peek into the future, that's a huge blessing because we don't always
Mhm.
get to do that. We get to see
Yeah.
stuff for other people a lot, and very seldom do we get glimpses of our own future. So that's
Yeah.
a huge
Yeah.
blessing. Good for you. That is awesome. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just those little brief moments of showing me something. It's not really showing me like me gaining anything or me getting
Right.
anything in the future. It's more of just like those little moments of what's to come, you know.
Mhm.
So
I think
that's
they're
as far as it shows me.
affirmations though. Yeah. Because when they actually happen, then you're like, oh, well, that was cool. It's like it's giving you glimpses of things to look forward to,
Yeah.
which is great. That's a gift. In this day and age, anything that's good like that is awesome.
Yeah.
We all need a little bit more of that. That's for sure. Well, we probably should close out for now. I know it's getting a little bit later, but we're going to have to do this again because this was a blast. And I want to hear more about how you're learning stuff and how things are coming together for you. Because I
Yeah.
think the next couple of years are going to be really busy for you. I really think you're going to be busy with this stuff.
Yeah. I would assume so as well.
Yeah. Is there some way that people can connect with you if they want to talk to you? Do you have an email or something that you feel comfortable sharing that people could email you if they wanted to, if they have questions or anything like that?
Um, I guess I won't give my personal email out. I guess I'll
Okay.
just end up making an email and I'll probably send it to you on
Okay.
Facebook Messenger. And
Sure.
then I guess that way if anybody wants to reach out, they can do that as well.
Okay. I'll just add it to it later. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and doing this tonight. This was a blast. I had a blast talking to you. This was awesome. And for anybody watching or listening, as my friend Jay likes to remind me, please hit the like and subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything and it really helps the channel. I appreciate you watching and thank you so much. This is Holly from Holly's Pimdorium saying thank you and I'll see you again soon.